Hi everyone, welcome along to this TechNet video having a look at an introduction to Adobe Audition and all the things you can do with it. So this is the screen you agree with Adobe Audition. As you can see up here, I've already loaded a couple of things to play around with in a second, but we'll get to that in a mo. So there are two windows with Adobe Audition. You've got Waveform, where you just want to edit one audio clip at a time, and you've got Multi-Track, where you can edit multiple audio tracks together and then mix them all together to get one master output. So guiding around the screen, down here you've got your levels bar, so of course you really don't want to be pushing it any higher than about 6, -3 decibels. You should definitely not have these two little lights come on at the end here in red. This is your selection view, so this tells you how much of the track you've got selected. If you want to record straight into Audition because you've got a microphone plugged in or similar audio device, you can use this red record button here, so that'll be used to record my voice talking now. You've obviously got play, you've got stop, you've obviously got the same old usual controls you'd find on any sort of audio device. Jump to the end, jump to the beginning, play it fast forward, play it backwards. So to see the rest of the tools, what we're going to do is we're just going to load in a piece of audio. Here is this wonderfully named called Track 67. So to get something into Adobe Audition, you simply find the track you want here. Let's just pick track 66. You just drag it and you just drop it straight in, and as you can see, it loads it up. Audition can take MP3s, WAVs, it can also take Apple audio files, so AACs. It can also import video files as well. So you can use this to mix and master your video footage at the same time and make sure the audio is all in sync. A little video option down here, so you'll actually see your video playing and you can add sound effects to it and export it as one big multi-track mix down to work with your videos. So if you double click on track 67 here, you'll notice that the waveform has been loaded. So on your keyboard, you can press the Alt key and you can scroll wheel, which means you can zoom into your track so you can see individual waveforms like this. So we're seeing now fractions of a second, and obviously we can zoom all the way back out and see the entire thing. So that is the Alt key and scroll wheel on your mouse. If you do Alt and scroll wheel over here, you can change the amount of decibels you see. So as you can see here, we are clipping on 0 because we're putting 0 at the top. So if I zoom it out a little bit, you can see here that we are just on 0 there, which is usually what you would find with audio files when you get them, is that they will be clipping on 0 because that's how the industry generally wants to master everything out to you. So the highest highs will hit 0. Now obviously I've got a big fancy mixing desk here, so we can press the space bar, or we can just click the play button down here to play the song. So as you can see, this is quite loud, so it has actually technically clipped, which is why these little red lights have shown up here. So if you don't want your audio to clip, the easiest way to do it is using this little box up here. So this controls the volume for the entire track. So if you click and hold your mouse over it, drag it to the left, you can see I'm pulling that audio waveform down. So I can pull it down to absolute infinity, so there is no noise at all anymore. And of course I can drag it all the way up and do the complete opposite and make it sound like an absolute car crash. So with this one, I'm just going to pull it down a smidge, probably to about there. Now I can press the space bar, and as you can see, I'm just above 3, which is roughly where you want to be. I don't want to be anywhere near touching 0 on this. So again, I'm just going to use the space bar button to play and pause. And of course, I can, if I want to use this, I can play and stop using these two controls down here as well. If you want to select a piece of audio and do something different to it, so let's say this intro here, I don't like the sound of it, I want it to be a little bit louder, I can singularly just click and drag my mouse to highlight this particular chunk of audio, and then as you can see, my volume will only affect this selected area. It won't affect anything else. And like always, 0 is the kind of natural default of where you left it. So you're either adding volume, so you're adding gain, so you're increasing the decibels, or you're taking gain away, so you're quietening things down. So that is the basics of playing around with audio in Adobe Audition. So with your audio clips, you might want to do some effects and do some little tweaks on them. So to do this, you can either use the effects tab, and there's also the favorites tab as well, which is the kind of most used effects. So underneath effects, of course, you've got noise reduction. You can have a look at our other video about that. We've got filters and equalizers. So obviously you can make high pass filters, low pass filters. You can do all sorts to your audio in that. You can add some echo. You can play around more with amplifiers, normalizing. You can play around with the sort of pitch. So if I shrink that down and press play, you can see it's really, really fast now. Or if I send it the other way, it's very, very slow. But obviously it sounds absolutely heinous. So you can play around with all these kind of things. So remember, if you use the little play button that is inside the effects box, that's just like a little test play, so you can hear what it's going to sound like before you get there. Now, obviously, this sounds like an absolute tinny disaster, so I'm not going to use that in a million years. So if I just press close, it'll reset the audio track back to normal, which is where I want it. For example, if you want to make someone sound like they're on a telephone, you can literally just click favorites, do telephone voice, and then it sounds like you've got some annoying hold music that you're waiting for. Really nice, easiest thing to do in the world, really, with this. So yeah, so there are an absolute plethora of effects and things you can do to your audio. Generally, the most amount of things you'll be doing in Audition is doing some noise reduction, working out with gain, and sort of stitching two clips of audio together. Or if someone breathes, for instance, midway through a take, you can take the breath out and then stitch the two bits of audio next to each other. Like with all Adobe programs, if something goes wrong, you can, of course, press Ctrl-Z, and that takes you back in time. Now, in terms of saving, I recommend saving things as a WAV file, because that means it's a lossless audio file. If you've got the space for it, of course, WAV files are very, very big. But you can, of course, save things as MP3s as well. So if you go to File and then do Save As, and then down here, obviously, you can pick what you want to do. So I would always go for WAV PCM, so it says .wav at the beginning there. And then obviously you give it a name, pick where you want to save it, and you literally just click OK. And that is the easiest way to save out your WAV files. So of course, if you're working in Premiere Pro and you've obviously done the right-click option that sends it into Adobe Audition, all you need to do is just press Ctrl-S on your keyboard, and that will save your audio file and send it straight back into Premiere Pro for you. So that was a little video showing you the basics and an introduction to Adobe Audition. In the next video, we'll be having a look at the multi-track window and how you can mix and master your own pieces of audio.